Hi, I'm State Representative J.T. Wilcox, and I am the House Republican Leader down here in Olympia. All of my colleagues are here this week because we have what's called November Committee Days. And once or twice in the course of a year after the session is over, the legislature gets together and all the committees have a chance to have hearings or work sessions. And it's a good way to prepare for the session. Fortunately, in Washington, we don't have a full-time legislature. We have a part-time legislature, and coming up starting in the middle of January, we're going to have what should be just a 60-day legislative session. And if we're going to pull that off successfully, you need to have some preparation. And another thing that happens during committee days is that most members have a lot of folks that want to come and see them about legislation. Oftentimes it's people from their district. Other times it's groups and individuals that are going to be affected by legislation that comes up. And they may be in favor of the legislation, or equally likely they may be quite worried about what the legislation is going to look like. And unfortunately, the session this year gave them lots of reasons to worry. And in fact, the state and the legislature are now being sued by some groups that got taxed at the last minute by what we use as a slang term and call it a ghost bill, and is otherwise known as a title-only bill, where the substance of a bill is revealed only in the last day or two of a session. That's absolutely wrong, and House Republicans are going to do our best to demand that legislation be passed to prevent that in the future. Now, this time it was a group that probably is not that popular with a lot of people. It was large banks. But if you can do it to the large banks, any group that becomes unpopular in a moment can find the same thing happening to them. And that, to me, just isn't the way a constitutional republic or the state of Washington should work. Now, we have some goals here in the House Republican caucus, and there's lots of individual bills that feed into these goals. But here's what we think should happen as we go into every legislative session. We have solutions, and the solutions should allow the people that live in Washington to be safer, to live in a state that's more affordable, and to live with a government that is more accountable. And most of our efforts in the 2020 legislative session are going to be directed towards those three goals: to be safe, to be affordable, and to be accountable. I'm looking forward to working hard on those things in January. Thanks, everybody.